Hey guys, so I kind of fixed the problem with my computer camera. My mouth is still not totally lining up with my words, but that's okay because ultimately this is way better than it was because I was having tracers and stuff before, and I want to record from my computer because I have this awesome new mic that I got. Now, I know that there's a lot of you out there with much fancier stuff. I've read the reviews on the microphones. And people are like, when I left using that particular microphone that I have, they're like, oh, it was the best thing ever, right? That's cool because it's important that I have something that works for me. And so you're going to be fine handling this. So tonight, your favorite hot mess mom, me, being the one speaking to you with my history of irresponsibility, now becoming a very responsible mom, cooking nice dinners, which the kids almost want to eat. Tonight, I want to talk to you about what I would like to title as worried about the price of silver. Don't be. Silver has been dropping in price recently. We've seen it just go below $15 an ounce. You know, it's just a few days ago. It's still under $15 an ounce. And that is a good thing that we need to rejoice in. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Right now, this is perceived. There is a perceived value of the dollar going up. If we look at the currency crisis in Venezuela right now, we'd actually see the value of silver exponentially rising daily, obviously, because you could buy a plot of land and a home in Venezuela with 1 ounce of silver right now, I'm sure. So right now we have this perceived value of the dollar going up, and a lot of that has to do with the trade being better right now, economy being better, jobs being better. And so that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I'm happy to have my silver prices drop because that to me is very important, to be able to buy and stack what I want at a price I can definitely afford. So right now I can definitely afford where silver's at. I've even bought some gold. I love gold. So we all remember 2008, we faced what's called an economic crisis. This was an isolated and institutional crisis mainly related to large companies. They could no longer hide behind the Ponzi schemes under which they'd thrived for so long. Now, that's important because this was really particular to big time corporate institutions, which has all these people saying corporations are evil, and they're not all evil, but some of them definitely had some bad intentions with their Ponzi schemes. They lasted as long as they could, and eventually things came crashing down. This crisis led to a bailout by sovereign banks and governments of the world. That meant our tax dollars and many other countries' tax dollars were used to bail out the banks and liquefy central banks. Interest rates were driven to historical lows, sometimes 0% and below. This gave a false sense of hope to Americans because all this money, billions of dollars, was being flooded into the economy, let's say, and everybody was like, let's borrow again. And companies were saying, oh, it's okay, we'll give you a house to buy again, even though you had to sell out, short sale, or maybe even foreclose. We'll make sure that, you don't, even if you had to file bankruptcy, we'll get you into a new house in 2 years. And that just emerged very quickly out of that crisis, and everybody just followed along with it. They're like, well, hey, it's not my fault. The crisis happened. I was led into this. And that gave us a nice band-aid for a while. So rather than learning the lesson of how and why this happened, many people fell back into the trap again. But this time the crisis is going to be much worse than before. And I hope you're listening to not just me. Find out if I'm telling the truth. Listen to other people. This is important though. Okay. So our problem turned from one of an institutional level to a level of all countries and all their currencies now at risk of failure. That's because we were printing and printing. We're not even printing. It's a computerized, digitized system now. But this will be a global, generational, debt-based fiat Ponzi collapse of the grandest scale. Yeah. Clearly, this is a much larger issue that's coming up. The Fed is raising the dollar value. It artificially strengthens the markets relative to other countries' currencies suffering, like Venezuela, Argentina, Brazil, Turkey, Iran, and a few others, I'm sure. So it's just making our dollar look stronger relative to these other countries whose are obviously going through hyperinflation and total crashes. Silver is only going down because of this. This is relative to the 2008 financial crisis, in that right before that hit, silver went from somewhere around $15 an ounce, where it was, down to about $8 an ounce, and it dropped significantly. That's a big drop per ounce of silver. And also at that time, the dollar was increasing in value, same as now. However, when the crisis hit, silver hit its bottom, and that was the best asset class to be in after the financial collapse began. The best asset class to be in. This next crisis will hit, and when it does, only gold and silver, and mainly silver, and I'll tell you why, will be the smartest asset to buy into. Why? All the currencies of the world will be suffering, not just the dollar. This isn't just, the dollar was something that was strong for a long time, even when it was losing its value before. But the dollar, it's going to be all the currencies. And paper stocks and the long trusted dollar can no longer be bought into for good reason. There's just no good reason to do it. It's not safe. Not safe. Precious metals, especially silver, will be the safest assets above all else to invest in. So silver stackers, rejoice. Hallelujah. I'm one of them. Thank you, Lord. Glad I got into this when I did. Feel like I'm very blessed. So this is what we call the biggest wealth transfer in history. This is about to happen as purchasing power with the dollar becomes non-existent. It's about purchasing power. What can you purchase? If the dollar has zero purchasing power, what are you going to use? All the intangible debt-based fiat consumer money that has pumped up all other assets into this enormous bubble will burst. Hanging on to that idea that we can continue this way of life is a farce. Stop fooling yourself. Okay, I was going to say lying, but it's not a lie if you don't really know. Just don't be the fool. Don't be the fool, please. I mean, it's hard because it's frustrating. I want to help people. They don't want to listen often, and not because they're stupid. Not because you're stupid. You've been led to believe something for so long. It's just very hard to get the truth out. So, as a result of this bubble, the idea of trying to live this way of life, we are seeing higher debt and higher interest rates. So now those interest rates that were once 0 and below 0%, they're going up. In fact, the Fed has doubled interest rates in the stock market in the last 2 years. When Obama was in power, he kept the interest rate, the Fed kept the interest rate artificially low at 0% and under. And during Obama's reign, this doubled the United States debt, doubled it. It's higher than it's ever been in all history. Of course, you could say, well, it's always going up. It's never doubled in a period of a president's time. So the Fed is political. It is very political. It does not care about you. It is not for the people. It has in all these little band-aids and little cover-ups of how it's going to handle things, and it makes it look like, oh, hey, now we have money to help you. It's not for you. It's not to help you. It's to cover their butts and kick the can down to the next person to have to deal with. So as these interest rates do continue to go up, an unsustainable system is at hand. It's unsustainable. It can't continue. Where the dollar was once a trusted asset to all countries, it has become the most cancer-ridden of all currencies. Our entire economic structure will begin to suffer as a result, leading again to the single largest transfer of wealth that history has ever known. Which means if you don't have something to transfer your wealth into, your transfer of wealth is going to go from the dollar to nothing. And if you trust that, please stop trusting it. It doesn't mean it'll happen in your lifetime, but protect your children and protect their children. I hope if your legacy matters, it matters beyond your own personal life. The only place for you and me should be silver and gold, but silver, because it is the most undervalued, most decentralized, most anonymous, most secure, and most liquid currency of all time. Silver has been used more as money than any other commodity in the world next to oil. Used more all over the world than any other money, including gold. It is the second most industrial used commodity, second only to oil. Considering that there is an estimated 6 times more gold than silver on this earth above ground and maybe below, that makes silver relatively rare and much more useful. So if you believe what I'm saying is even remotely true, then that means you need to stack now, today, before it pops up into a price that you're not going to be able to afford. Silver has dropped from about $19 an ounce when I started a year and a half ago to being under $15 an ounce. The last time I looked at buying a couple days ago, it was $14.40. Man, come on. Like, you guys say, oh, it's $4. $4 is a lot over multiple stacks of what I have, and I posted my stacks on Instagram and Facebook. So it may even drop more. It might go down to $10 an ounce. I'm not saying it's going to jump up immediately or tomorrow, but I wouldn't wait any longer to get started if I was you, and I didn't, but I wouldn't wait any longer. And I know just the right person to help you decide what you should buy, how you should buy, who you should buy from, and that would be me, of course, yours truly. And I will put my website in the bio down below. I will also put my Instagram, all my social media stuff. And please hit the subscribe button, which I can never say very well, whatever. But just, give me some love. I appreciate it. If you have anything that you don't agree with or do agree with, go ahead and put that in the comments. I will address any comments. I don't get a lot yet anyway, so that's fine. I'm not a stranger to constructive criticism or even harsh criticism, and I can handle it all, so bring it. I'm so glad that you took the time to watch the whole video. I'm glad that you put up with my mouth not totally matching the words, but it is so much better than it was, and my new mic, it's fun for me, so I'm grateful for you, and I'm just share what you know, share what you learn, research yourself, don't just trust me. And definitely don't trust the government. Okay, you guys have a great night. We'll be seeing you soon.